Hey guys, Prepper Nurse 1 here. So this is basically the follow-up on the video that I just did, and I'll tell you what exactly the problem was, what happened, okay? But I wanted to show you, it's about 5 in the afternoon right now, and the sun is up here behind the trees, so we're getting some sunshine through, and it is still hitting the panels. And actually today, we ended up having our best power day so far that we've had since we got the new panels added on this spring. We brought in 4.5 kilowatt hours of power. Okay. Now, so somebody had asked me to do a kind of a detailed thing too. So we're going to go in. We're going to do that. I'm going to talk about the system, and I'm going to tell you what exactly happened. Okay. So these panels, it's 6 250 watt monocrystalline solar panels. Okay. From Renology out of California. That's where I bought this panels from. Okay, so you can get your panels for wherever you want to. The panels a piece were $220 a piece. Okay, that's what I paid for the panels. Or no, I'm sorry, $240 a piece for the panels. And then with shipping and receiving, because I generally buy 3 panels at a time. This is a string of 3. That's a string of 3. Those 3 are tied together. These 3 are tied together. Okay. So I'm going to go in the back and I'll explain this a little bit too so you can see and understand. Basically what we have is you have your positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative. Okay. Then you're going to have your negative from this end comes in, and it's going to hook up here with the negative from the other string. Okay, so the 2 negatives hook together, and then both of them tie in. And the way I have this, so you can see here, we got it tied up and everything's locked in here. So the negatives coming in here, the negative from the other end comes in and ties in with this as well. Okay, so the other string the other way, again, same thing, positive negative, positive negative, positive to negative, or yeah, then the negative to the positive. The 2 positives from these 2 strings tie in together. Okay, here, come in here, and they are locked in here. Okay, so here's your 2 positives tied in to the main positive. That main positive is the wire that you see running back into the building. Okay, so your negatives are tied in together, your positives are tied in together. The positives are then going in to the building. So you have a string of 3, positive to negative, positive to negative. The positives from both of the strings are tied together, and then that's going to go in here. Your negatives are also tied together. Okay, so then everything is tied together. It's hooked into, and I'll show you the wire coming across here. Okay, you have the 2 wires that are tied in. So the 2 strings are tied together to 1 wire of positive, 1 wire to negative. That goes into the building. Okay, so we're going to go into the building. Turn this light on here so you guys can see. So I can see too, probably would help. Okay, now let me explain to you what happened. We're making the grilled cheese sandwiches. We had complete power failure. Alright, what happened was over here on the main breaker box coming in, this tripped and these breakers tripped. Okay, so we had too much. We had an overload of power. Now I think that the reason is because we had 3 laptops on, the fan on, the camper's also hooked up, the refrigerant in the camper is hooked up, and then with the the griddle really sucks a lot of power. So that was an overload for us, and it killed the whole system. So I was trying to figure it out and ended up stopping the video because I wasn't sure. But this tripped and this tripped, so it just cut everything off because it was too much. It was an overload. Okay, So next time if we make grilled cheese sandwiches, what I'll probably do is I'll disconnect the camper so there's not as much draw on the system to overload the power. Now, what we ended up bringing in today, power, okay, so what we have here, this is a combiner box. So let me, hold on, I'm going to set you down a second. So you'll stare at nothing for a minute while I undo this. Now this combiner box, it is a, I got this, I picked this up from Missouri Wind and Solar, and everything comes in, okay? So you got your wires coming in, you got your black wire, you got your white wire, they're coming in, okay? And so you have the one wire comes right into this box, you got your fuses here, this here thing flashing, you'll see it flash in a minute, there it goes, that's the Whiz Bang Junior, okay? Now you got your two power sources here coming in. These are the main cables that are hooked up to the batteries, okay? This is your negative here. This is your positive, okay? Everything is tied together, and it's got a schematic right there that shows you how to tie everything together, okay? We ended up buying the breakers separately. Obviously all the wires separately, the Whiz Bang Junior. This combiner thing here was also separate that we had to hook up. We bought these big cables offline by the advice of Bill and Rosa from Bill and Rosa Off Grid. He was instrumental with helping me to upgrade my system this spring. Okay, so what I have here is the Midnight Classic, the 150, and that's where the power is brought in, and that is feeding my batteries. Now the batteries, I have L16E Trojan batteries, okay? So I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but they are 270 amp hours at, let me see, hold on a second so I can read this, at 20 hours, 302, what does it say? No, 370 hours, I'm sorry. At 20 hours. So the 370 amp hour batteries, what I've done with these, I went from a 12 volt system to a 24 volt system. So I have a total of 12 batteries, and so I've tied them in strings of 4, okay? So basically this is one 24 volt battery, that's one 24 volt battery, that's one 24 volt battery. So what we do to do that, okay, just so anybody that's not 100% sure, the way we do it is you're going to take, now this here is the negative. You have one negative from one end, okay, and then you take one positive from the other end. But then what you're going to do is you're going to take your positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative. That ties them in that way. Then you're taking your main, your first ground, and your first positive, and those are going to get tied into the first set of batteries, okay? So basically, what you're seeing is this wire's coming in here, bam, it's hooking in with this one. This is your negative on this end, that wire's coming in, tying in with that as well. Again, positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative, and then the other positive on this end, this wire, is coming over and hooking in here. And then again, you're doing the same thing, positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative. So you have one end is ground, one end is positive, okay? And all three are tied in to the system itself. Now, what we have here, this is an Ames inverter, okay? It is a 24 volt inverter and charger, which basically means once we get into winter and we're not collecting as much power as we want to, I can set this up so that when I'm running my generator to power the house, I can also charge the batteries at the same time, okay? So basically I won't have to run completely on the generator. I can also run on the batteries, but when I am running on the generator, it's charging up the batteries at the same time. We will continue to get sunshine and get power in from the sun, but in the winter it's not nearly as much of what's going on. So we have the Midnight Classic, okay, charge controller. Then we have our Ames inverter, okay? It's a really good inverter. I mean, the thing is top notch, and is same with the batteries. The batteries are top notch batteries, okay? So what basically, that's how my system is set up. Today we had the best day power-wise coming in, and I ended up shutting everything off trying to fix everything. But we ended up bringing in 4.5 kilowatt hours today, and actually right now we're still only got 27 watts coming in right now. The batteries are at 25.1, which means they're at 100%. They're fully charged, and you know, that's basically what happens is, okay, we charge the batteries up. To get into float charge, we're looking at having 28.4 or 28.6. Once it hits 28.4 or 28.6, it goes into float charge, which basically means whatever you're bringing in and you're not using it, it just dumps it, okay? So, well, and I've just, let me just show you too, everything is grounded. So it's all grounded. It has a grounding rod. This was like a 8-foot long grounding rod that we pounded into the ground, and that was fun to do too, by the way. So everything is grounded, so it's all protected that way, okay? The way we have our system set up in the house, I can run the house either on a generator or I can run it on the solar. I can do it either one, okay? So I'll go in here and I'll show you guys that real quick. This is just for the people that haven't seen my system yet, just so you guys understand exactly how we're doing this. Turn this light on. Okay, so here's the main circuit in the house, okay? Right now, we have this flipped over, so this is off, okay? This is the generator side. So the generator side is off. We have the solar on right now. If I wanted to run on the generator, I would take this breaker here, this main breaker, turn that off, slide this over, turn this one on. We would start the generator first, then we turn that on, and bam, runs the house that way as well. Now, the ultimate thing that we want to do is get to a point where I don't have to run the generator at all, okay? That's the ultimate goal. In order for me to do that, I believe personally, I need a minimum of 3 or 6 more panels, which would give me a 3,000 watt system. Now, in the summertime, 1,500 watts, more than enough power. We're jacking it in. Our power needs, we're really, I mean, if we bring in 3 kilowatt hours a day, that meets our needs and keeps the batteries in good shape. Now the batteries, like right now I said they were at 25.1. They're fully charged, okay? When the batteries hit 24.2, that's 50%. I never let it get as low as 50%. I always turn it off before then. But we'll run the solar now for the rest of the evening, and that'll work out just fine. And then when we go to bed, we turn everything off. Now we leave that on in there, but the inverter and the power gets shut off at night because we don't need it because we're sleeping. So that's an overview of my system. Let you know what I have, what kind of batteries I have, what I'm using for me, which works fantastic. And like I said, a big, huge shout out goes to Bill and Rosa Off Grid. He really helped me a lot with, you know, getting the right equipment in here, because if you look at my older videos and you see the system that I had before, this was a huge upgrade this year. And now you're going to say, okay, how much do you have into your system? Right now, I probably got about $9,000 into the system total, okay? It's not cheap, guys, but here's the thing. If you look at it over the course of time, it pays for itself, because the panels will last for basically forever, 30 plus years. And your batteries, you're going to have to change them out about every 10 years. But now, with the batteries that I got about $3,000 just in batteries alone, okay? It's an investment. And you have to look at it that way. Let's say the average gas and electric bill is $250 a month. Now it's going to be higher in the summer. It's going to be lower higher in the winter and lower in the summer. But let's say it averages out over the course of the year to $250 a month. That's $3,000 a year. So basically, for 1 year's power consumption, which you'll never get anything out of, you replace your batteries. That's kind of the way I look at it. You know what I mean? So like I said, it's an investment. It's well worth it. If there's a power outage, it does not affect us. Look at the kitties, they're playing. So anyway, so that's that. So that's what happened, why we lost power. I will put all these videos up. Like I said, I want to be honest with you guys. I want you guys to see exactly what happens and why it happens, okay? So that's what we're doing, okay, guys? So listen, have a great day. Thank you for being on this journey with us, and, you know, we live and learn. All right? I'll talk to you later. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.